But for now, should we have a little bit of music? We've been talking about this throughout the programme in Leicester Square this week. Bollywood legends Shah Rukh Khan and Kajol unveiled a new statue celebrating Dilwale Dulhania Le Ganji, the iconic film that has run continuously in Indian cinemas for nearly 30 years. It marks the growing recognition of Bollywood's global influence and its deep cultural ties to the UK. To talk about the significance of this moment and the long-standing relationship between Bollywood and Britain, presenter, broadcaster and Bollywood expert Ravi Sagoo dropped in for a chat a little bit earlier.
Well, we're celebrating 30 years of Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge, and it's got perhaps the most bankable and iconic on-screen couple of that era of Shah Rukh Khan, the Badshah of Bollywood, the king of Bollywood, and Kajol, who was a relative newcomer at that point, but that really sort of, took her to stardom. And 30 years on, it crosses generations, it crosses cultures, and, you've got, I don't have any kids, but my nieces and my nephews are now streaming this rom-com, drama, comedy, tragedy, but heartache but love winning on Netflix and the likes now. And believe it or not, there's a cinema in Mumbai, right? The Maratha Mandir Cinema in Mumbai that's been showing this film since 1995. So it's still in the hearts of domestic audiences as well as a global diaspora.
Yeah. Non-stop for all that time?
Maybe a couple of months in the pandemic, but I mean, this is the old country, and I can say this because I've got heritage from there. I'm assuming there was a few laws that were probably, okay, we'll still screen it. But the owners claim to have seen it about 25 times, and the screen projectionist has seen it more than 2,000 times, he says.
Goodness me. What do you think that says then, the fact that this statue has been unveiled alongside really huge characters like Harry Potter, Paddington, Bridget Jones? What does it say about Bollywood's place in the UK's cultural landscape? Well,
Bollywood has been in the UK for a number of years. Now, if you track it back to the golden generation of the 60s and the 70s, a lot of location filming happened all over Europe and indeed in London. But not just Hindi or Bollywood films, cross-regional films as well, such as Punjabi films, Tamil, Telugu, Marathi. So a lot of sub-regional films have come over to the shores of the UK over the years as well. And London is very significant for Bollywood because we've had big blockbusters filmed here, like DDLJ, which is a bit of a nickname for it, Namaste London, Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, which also starred as an on-screen couple, Kajol and Shah Rukh Khan. So we have obviously a British Asian community that have been here since maybe the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. And Indian cinema has been in Britain for that long as well. So it really kind of correlates with sort of an Asian diaspora, the culture here of, foreign cinema integrating into varying publics, but also Bollywood using Britain as a location shoot. And particularly over the last sort of 25 years, I'm going to bump my gums for Scotland now. Scotland has been at the epicentre of a lot of Bollywood shoots as well. They fell in love with the glens, the lochs, the lush scenery. So it's very much in the vista of Bollywood cinema. And yeah, so Britain, Scotland and all the major cities, you'll see a lot of it on screen in Bollywood.
The UK is one of the strongest overseas markets for Bollywood. Why do you think Bollywood has struck such a chord here?
Well, obviously, you've got the South Asian diaspora, which has its links, but it's also our film structures. So I'll give an example. In 1998, Karan Johar rolled into town with a blockbuster cast for Kabhi Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, which again starred Kajol and Shah Rukh Khan.
There's a running theme here.
It's a running theme. So that was the kind of trope of the sort of mid-90s, that kind of rom-com, two young lovers fall in love, perhaps parental, generational baggage was there, and they had to kind of, overcome all this kind of stuff. But Karan Johar, who directed that film, rolled into town, A-star cast, one of my biggest faux pas in my media career was I actually gave up a starring role, albeit as an extra in that film. But hey-ho. So yeah, they fell in love with the vista of Scotland, the vista of location shoots here. But not only that as well, it's the freedom that filming in sort of Scotland and Britain brings to them, because they're relatively sort of anonymous here. They can go and play a bit of golf. I know this sounds stereotypical. They can go down Buchanan Street in Glasgow, grab a coffee, hit the shops, and kind of get away with it. Because over in India, they've got armed security, armed police guard, because they can't step out of the house. But it's also other things as well. They get massive tax breaks filming here in Scotland and Britain, and simple things that you wouldn't think about. So in Mumbai, filming is difficult during the day, during the summer months, because of all the smog. They come to Scotland, they come to Britain, there's no smog.
There's a lot of rain.
But they love that. For the item numbers, they love the snow, they love the ice. And again, we've had, a massive blockbuster that was shot last year called Badi Mia Shoti Mia 2, which translates loosely to Big Man, Wee Man. And they had tanks up in like the glens of, all these mountain terrains in Scotland. So they really get all the big blockbuster action here as well.
Talk to me then about Shah Rukh Khan and Kajol. That's 3 films you've mentioned now that they have been, that on-screen partnership. Do audiences just absolutely love them? Are they just like the big two when it comes to Bollywood?
He's now 60, she's 51, right? But when obviously in 1995, they were this kind of young couple. And it wasn't just their on-screen chemistry that kind of really captured the narrative in the hearts of, the audiences and filmmakers. What Bollywood of that era, and indeed still this era, was really prevalent in and is still massive, was the soundtrack. So, unfortunately, Bollywood gets tagged as like a musical. Technically, it's a musical because there is a soundtrack, but it was the iconic soundtracks and the voices of, Lata Mangeshkar, who sadly passed away recently over the last few years. Her sister Asha Bosley was on it, Kumar Sanu. So the songs became iconic, and again, they were intertwined with the cultural sort of significance of weddings of Indian culture, just boy meets girl falling in love, the lush sort of scenes in the fields of Punjab. So the music, alongside the characters, the storytelling, and just, the innocence of falling in love. Because, I'm an old romantic at heart, Laura, right? We all still believe in falling in love, don't we?
Yes.
And I think that'll capture any audience.
Bollywood's had ups and downs post-pandemic. You mentioned the pandemic a little bit earlier. Just like Hollywood, just like the film industry. Where do you see it heading now? Are we in the middle of a reinvention? We're talking about how some of these stars, although not old, but in their 60s, we're maybe looking towards the younger generation coming through. Is there a kind of reinvention coming when it comes to Bollywood films?
I think there has definitely been a rebirth and a new incarnation, because Bollywood has now sort of not just moved away from the sort of boy meets girl romantic tropes. It's really got sort of nuanced into their social history, into the biopics. So, and the production values are on point, if not beyond sort of Western cinema as well. So it's very much there in terms of its production value. So, the Badshah of Bollywood, Mr. Shah Rukh Khan, he did have a bit of a hiatus for about 4 years. He's coming back with a new film called King. But audiences in India still flock to the cinema. But again, like, our culture of, streaming, or what they call over in the old country, OTT, over-the-top platforms, are proving very popular as well. So a lot of movies go straight to sort of streaming platforms as well, but you're still seeing big cinema releases. Now, the big one I'm looking forward to is Border 2, which was, again, made in the 90s, a real-life war movie about war in India and Pakistan back in the 70s. This is a sequel, but again, it's all the big Bollywood stars of today, your Diljit Dosanjhs, and perhaps, the sons of the heroes from back in the day. So Sunil Shetty, he might be in his 60s, but guess what? His son's now taking up the starring role.
Wow.
So it's quite an incestuous industry, any film industry, but especially Bollywood. But I definitely think that, you've still got your film goers and the blockbusters coming to on screen and the big budgets, but it does have a shift to the streaming platforms as well. It's consumption, it's audiences, and again, me being a kid of the 80s, I love going to the cinema, but seeing a Friday night, I don't mind a cheeky wee stream either.
Well, I think that's the direction it's going in, isn't it? So you have to adapt to the times. So finally, Ravi, for those who have maybe only seen DDLJ or have never seen a Bollywood film before, What's a good starting point?
A good starting point, right? I'm going to take you back to the 1970s. It's called Sholay, which is Flames of the Sun, and it's a curry western. It's got romance, tragedy, heartache, violence, guns, gangsters, and it's called a masala film. Masala meaning obviously spicy, so it's got a bit of everything to it, and that's a great starting point. And it's also got all the songs, etc. And then a sort of modern classic would be Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge, or perhaps one of my favourites, again, like I said, I've got a love-hate relationship with it because I had the chance to be an extra and I sadly didn't take it up. Anyway, Kush Kush Hota Hai. Again, another sort of rom-com and filmed in Scotland as well. You know, Elandon Castle. And again, it just shows you that innocence of love with all the glitz, the glamour, the high production values, the family values as well. But again, it's got that crossover appeal, Laura, that even if you don't understand the language, you're reading subtitles, the music, the colours, just the love, the energy, the warmth, it just draws you in.
I said finally before, Ravi, but this is my final question. Is it living rent-free in your head that you never took that opportunity to be an extra?
Well, I actually righted that wrong, Laura. If you'll let me bump my gums just for a cheeky wee second more. I've got a documentary that I presented and produced for BBC Radio 4. It's currently on BBC Sounds. It's called Bonnie Bollywood, 25 Years of Indian Filmmaking in Scotland. And, you know, in my career here at the BBC, I think I used that documentary to right that wrong. So I managed to get onto a Bollywood set, and I managed to star in a Bollywood set as I kind of explored, you know, filmmakers, Indian filmmakers coming to Scotland, using our sort of film structure and, you know, all the different locations, etc. So it doesn't tend to live too much rent-free in my life, but my siblings and my cousins remind me every time we hook up for Christmas.
I'm sure they do. Well, we can give you a mention, Radio 4 or BBC Sounds. You can find your documentary. Ravi, it's been lovely speaking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura.
Yes, it was lovely speaking to Ravi. Thank you very much for coming in and speaking to us on the overnight programme. Okay, it's